we see how parents throw their newborn child out of the car near the Golden Dumpling. This is a restaurant combined with an orphanage. Mr. Wang, the owner of the orphanage, picked up the baby the next morning. From now on, Norbit's new life began along with the rest of the orphans. Soon he became friends with little Kate, and since then they have been doing everything together. Once the children even arranged a toy wedding for themselves. But 2 weeks later Kate was adopted. At first Norbit was very lonely. Other guys mocked him, but at some point a tall fat girl named Rasputia stood up for him, who announced that she would now be his girlfriend. From that day on, they were inseparable. Rasputia protected Norbit, and the other guys stopped making fun of him. Rasputia has 3 brothers, Big Black Jack, Blue, and Earl, so Norbit found a family. The Lattimore family had a reputation for being the meanest guys in the city. They were engaged in knocking out debts from debtors. Over time, Norbit and Rasputia became closer and closer. Norbit began working as an accountant for a construction company owned by the Lattimores. It came down to the wedding. Rasputia and Norbit got married. Due to the huge dimensions of his wife, he could not get close to her for a long time, but Rasputia took everything under control. All friends sympathized with Norbit, considering Rasputia an armored car in a veil and a gargoyle. However, her brother made it clear to his son-in-law that if he ever offended their sister, he was finished. When the ceremony was over, Rasputia asked Norbit to carry her into the house in his arms, but, of course, he did not succeed. It was time for the wedding night. For the newlyweds it was the first experience. Rasputia, unfortunately for her husband, turned out to be very loving. Many years of their married life have passed. Rasputia, being a very domineering woman, cursed with her neighbors and no longer fit in the car, accusing Norbit of moving the seat. The Lattimore brothers offered Mr. Wang to buy his orphanage restaurant, but he said he was not for sale and drove the insolent people away. Rasputia came to the dance class. She openly flirts with instructor Buster and asks for a private lesson. Buster said it could be arranged if she got her brothers to sponsor his video course. Norbit stopped by his friends to buy food for his wife at their establishment. Upon his return, it seemed strange to him that his wife had come home so early. Going inside, he heard strange sounds and caught Rasputia and the instructor in bed. Buster tried to talk his teeth into him, and then retreated. Norbit was simply shocked that his wife had cheated on him, and dared to insult her. Angry, Rasputia ran after him, demolishing everything and everyone in her path. When the chase ended, Norbit threw his wedding ring in the trash. In the evening he put on a show for the kids at Mr. Wang's orphanage. Suddenly there was Kate, the same friend of his childhood. They started hugging. Later Kate said that she had sold her atelier in Atlanta and returned here to buy an orphanage. Because Mr. Wang was no longer young, they agreed to have lunch together on Tuesday. Norbit was beside himself with happiness and was looking forward to that day. One day Buster showed up on the doorstep to arrange another one-to-one session for Rasputia, but Norbit was no longer upset, because he only thought about Kate. However, during lunch, she introduced her fiancé Dylan to him, which was a very unpleasant surprise. Sitting on the threshold of the house, Norbit was completely broken. At night he could not sleep because of Rasputia's snoring. Besides, she almost crushed him in a dream. The next evening, Rasputia tried to run over Lloyd, Norbit's beloved dog. Then Norbit began to collect things. Because Lloyd almost died, he was not stopped by the fact that all the property was registered to his wife because she is a selfish and heartless woman. Then Rasputia announced that she was expecting a baby. It was the day of the annual city picnic. Dylan said he had to go on business and left Kate behind. Norbit introduced Kate to his wife, although he was ashamed. Rasputia at that time was just sucking jelly out of donuts. After meeting Kate, she became jealous of her husband for her, and then she told him that she had confused pregnancy with intestinal gases. Kate approached the Lattimore brothers because she wanted to contact their construction company about renovating an orphanage she was about to buy. She did not know that the brothers also wanted to receive orphanage. While Norbit danced with Kate, Rasputia fought with the children who teased her. The inflatable city deflated under her weight. Seeing her husband in the company of the beautiful Kate, she became very angry and knocked over a music column on him. Norbit woke up in the hospital. Kate visited him. Meanwhile, the Lattimore brothers came to Dylan. Dylan announced that he intended to leave without the knowledge of Kate, because he did not want to invest in orphans. However, the Lattimores offered him to act together, because the restaurant has a license for alcohol. If Dylan arranges a deal for them, then they will make huge money. You just need to marry Kate as soon as possible so that the property becomes common. Kate offered Norbit a job at her orphanage. They agreed to meet the other day at the water park. Dylan proposed to Kate that evening, and she accepted. On the appointed day, Norbit did not manage to leave in secret, so he had to take Rasputia with him to the water park. There she staged a real pogrom, because she could not pass through the turnstile. When she and Kate were sunbathing, Rasputia confided that Norbit harasses her all the time because he likes bigger women. When Rasputia went to get some food, Kate confessed to Norbit that she and Dylan were getting married that Saturday. Seeing Kate sliding down the hill, Rasputia also decided to do it. Although they tried not to let her through because of her size, Rasputia broke through the wall, and when she landed, all the water from the pool splashed out. Norbit was depressed because the love of his life is getting married. When Kate called him and asked for a meeting, he agreed without hesitation, lying to his wife that he needed to take the documents. Norbit and Kate spent the whole day having fun together. He finally tried to learn how to ride a bike. The preparations for the wedding were in full swing. When Kate visited the beauty salon, she crossed paths with Rasputia, who made it clear that Norbit belonged only to her. Rasputia was invited to the epilation of the bikini zone, and Master Helga barely coped with her task. The Lattimores ordered Norbit to meet with Kate today to sign the papers. He did not suspect that this was an agreement for the transfer of a license to sell alcohol. In the evening they met in a restaurant. Kate signed the papers without a second thought. In the meantime, Rasputia's brother brought pizza and blabbed about the meeting between Norbit and Kate. Unable to withstand the psychological pressure, the big guy confessed everything with tears. Rasputia immediately went to look for her husband. While Norbit was helping Kate rehearse her wedding vows, he couldn't help but kiss her. Rasputia saw them from the car. Tormented by conflicting feelings, Kate left, but Norbit caught up with her, wanting to explain. Kate admitted that she herself wanted this kiss, and she needed to be alone to think everything over. Rasputia was waiting for her husband at home and interrogated him with prejudice, and then literally threw him out the window. She made it clear to Norbit what would happen to Kate if he saw her again by pouring acid on the doll. Dylan, pretending to be a fool, accused the bride of unknowingly signing a liquor license drawn up for the Lattimore brothers. In the meantime, Rasputia has forced Norbit to clean up the basement. Kate came to talk to him, knowing that Rasputia was eavesdropping on them. Norbit drove her friend away, saying that he did not care about the orphanage and Kate herself. Rasputia confirmed his words, saying that Norbit deliberately seduced her in order to get a signature on the contract. During the night, Norbit stole away with a minimal set of things. On the street he met Mr. Wong. He dissuaded the pupil from leaving the city because you can't run away from problems. He also reminded that on Fridays the mail arrives in the evening. Opening the envelope, Norbit only now fully realized what the Lattimores wanted. He called Kate to warn her, but she didn't want to listen to him. The Lattimore family prevented him from leaving home. They locked him in the basement, from where he tried to call his friends. On the day of the wedding, Rasputia and her brothers went to the celebration, but one of them remained to guard Norbit. Mr. Wong led Kate to the altar while Norbit managed to escape through the window. The unfortunate watchman immediately informed his family about the fugitive. They went to look for him. At the instigation of Mr. Wong, Norbit's old friends began to interfere in every possible way with the wedding ceremony. While Norbit hurried here with all his might, the family quickly found him, but he managed to escape. In the meantime, a real farce was going on in the church. Fortunately, Norbit managed to arrive before the marriage was concluded. He announced that he loved Kate and also told his wife that he wanted a divorce. Norbit told everyone about the swindler Dylan, who earned a good fortune from 4 previous marriages. As proof, Norbit invited Dylan's ex-wives and his many children here. Norbit fled from the Lattimore family. A mass brawl ensued, and numerous victims of this family came to the rescue of Norbit, but the forces were still unequal. Then Mr. Wong intervened, who shot an arrow right into Rasputia's buttocks. The Lattimore family took off running. Now nothing will stop Norbit and Kate from being together. The orphanage passed to them, and they got married. This time it was for real. As for the Lattimore family, they settled in Mexico and nevertheless opened their own club, where they lived the life they had always dreamed of.